postmodern and modern culture. So first, we will tackle about postmodern. So this is the general and wide-ranging term in which it being applied to literature, art, philosophy, architecture, fiction, and cultural and literary criticism. So when we say postmodern, it is a largely reaction to the assumed certainty of scientific or objective efforts to explain reality. So postmodernism relies on concrete experience over the abstract principles. So when we say concrete experience, it is a new experience or situation that encountered or reinterpretation of the existing experience. So for instance, a student perform an initial interview for the first time. So that will be a concrete experience. So let's now proceed to our discussion. So when we say postmodernism, is post because it is denies the existence of any ultimate principles and it lacks the optimism of their being scientific. So the birth of postmodernism. So this would be the idea of loss in a goodness of people in a suspicion of science and a world of logic and order was compounded by the two agents of World War II, which is the Holocaust, the dropping of atomic bombs on Japanese cities. The paradox of postmodern position is that the placing all the principles under the scrutiny of its skepticism. So what do you mean by scrutiny of skepticism? So it means that the both science and religion of which deep thought can be widowed from deep nonsense. So one of our example is the Simpson family. So this is a great example of postmodernism because it is clear example of challenging the meta-narratives as the reason that Simpson family are trying to leave the American chain but are actually quite a dysfunctional family and have a major problem. By the reason they called postmodern art, it's because they rejected the traditional values and politically conservative assumptions of its predecessors and utilized a postmodern techniques such as intertextuality and the metafiction. So that will be the postmodernism. Modern culture. So when we say modern culture, it is refers to the shift in collective thought that took place with the rise in scientific advancement during the Renaissance. So modern culture is a latter half of 20th century thought that presents with many inventions become the common household such as the cars, televisions, and the computer. So modern culture creates its own environment, exported cultural environment to colonies in faraway places. So it builds cities and massive structures that teaches the nature what is meant to be manipulated. So this is the practice that relate to the industrial mode of production or the development of the large scale. So example, the current features of and the technology. So in modern culture, the people is they become the knowledgeable that business life is opposite to a personal life. So modern culture is more than mutable system that tend to change and create its own environment. So that will be the modern culture.